Hello, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Olinda, and my channel, Olinda's Artistic Oddities, is all about sketchbook tours, DIYs, art hauls, and anything that really sparks creativity and joy in my life. So thanks for being here, and I hope you enjoy my sketchbook tour today. We're going to start with this one. If we have time, I have 3 others that I have recently completed. We'll see. They're pretty long, so I don't want to keep you here all day long, but we're going to go through this one first. Okay, so we'll start off with stickers. This one is my own. This is from Debbie Draws Funny. This is from another YouTuber. I just can't think of the name. Oh, Little Star Nerd on YouTube. The rest of these are from different stores. This is sketchbook number 17. These stickers over here are all stickers that I made myself, except for this one, and this is some washi tape. But I do sell these stickers locally at the Dallas Art Supply store. These are a little bit beat up right now, and I put these ones on my sketchbook because they had like noticeable issues with these that I had printed out. So I gave the really good ones to the stores, and these are like the B grade. So anyway, let's get into it. So sketchbook number 17, I started it April 25th of this year, and I started with some swatches of the Neo Pastels, Derwent drawing pencils. This is actually before they expanded their set. So originally I think they only had 24 pencils, and now they have 72 colors. So I'm considering getting it, but I don't need it. Then I had I had just picked up the Derwent XL Graphitints and the Neo Art set. So they were all new to me back in April at the very end of the month. I still have yet to post my Neo Art review, I know, and it's been months. So sorry. You know, life. So I started this sketchbook when I was watching the end of Severance. So I tried to draw out the characters while I was watching, and unfortunately I didn't draw out Mark while I was watching, and I tried to just draw him from memory, and he came out like my least favorite, but I really like him. So that was really fun. I think I started this on a trip. Yep, it was a road trip day, so I had my plans written out. I had some places that I noticed on the road, and I would just kind of sketch it out. This was like recent art haul, some notes. This was like the first piece of art that I actually made in this sketchbook, and I used the Neo Arts actually for some of this beautiful texture. I used watercolor, and I used the what is it? Not the Gansai Tombi, maybe it is. It's the opaque Japanese watercolors. I think it is Gansai Tombi. Let me go find it. Hold on. I found it. It was the Kuretake. So it's these, and I have this set that I picked and pulled colors out of so that I could paint with them on the go. I used my Schmincke watercolor pan. It's a really big one that we punched the little rivets out of because it had paint tube holders within it, and it was getting in the way. So I put them in here. These were some of my most used colors, and they're just so pretty. I love them. Made it more accessible for me on the road. So I'll put that away. So the Neo Art set is this guy right here, and I've been testing these out for the past couple of months. I guess, let's see, it would be 5 months that I've been testing these out, and they look like they've been barely used. I think I have used the heck out of them too, but yeah, they've really maintained their length, I guess. I used them for like the lightness on the leaves and for just various textures, so it came out really nice. Then we did a blind contour drawing because I went with my friend to the Tyler Rose Garden in Tyler, Texas. I did just kind of like a fast scribble of someone sitting on the bench with their baby. And this is with those Kuretake Japanese watercolors again. I have a short of me painting this, and I really like how this one came out. This was also using one of my favorite watercolor brushes too, which is like the quill brush that I have on my arm. Let's see. This was a little road trip, so I was using a small gouache palette in the car while my friend was driving. We went to this restaurant called Stanley's, and I hated how this came out, but you know, it is what it is. Then I did some more like gouache paintings on the road. And then we made it to Jefferson, Texas, which is like self-proclaimed as like the most haunted town in Texas. And yeah, you can kind of see there were cats everywhere. It was really cute. It was very small. You could walk around it and you could just feel the creepy vibes, but it was a lot of fun. This was a day where I was using the Gravitant blocks. I'll show you. So the Derwent Gravitant XL blocks are graphite that are tinted with some color, and they're pretty powdery, but they're really nice, and the colors are really pretty. So they're big chunky sticks. You can add water directly to them and like paint with them. You can use them directly on the paper. You can just figure out how you want to use your art supply. So this was a lot of fun. I was painting with them onto some foam plates that I was making a stamp with. So that was me just kind of testing it out, stamping with it. I also have the Derwent Inktense blocks, but these are a little bit different. These are actually watercolor ink blocks, whereas these are the tinted graphite. So if you see them in stores, know that they are a little bit different. These ones are really soft. This one actually broke very shortly after use, but these are very intense colors, whereas these are a little bit more muted, but they're still really pretty. So more of that stamp, you can really see those Gravitant colors. I believe this is more of like the markers that I was using, which are the Ecoline brush tip markers. They are some of my favorite. They're juicier than Tombows, and they come in a lot of colors. So there's more Gravitant and me playing with another stamp, and I decided to just draw over this page with just I think it was my Sailor Fude 55 degree fountain pen, and it's just permanent black ink. So it was just kind of a fun drawing session while I was waiting outside a building. This was with pencil. I think it's the matte, what is that pencil I love? Oh, the Blackwing pencil. So I had the Blackwing matte pencil, and I was just sketching people I saw in this building, and I was putting it over these like little messed up stamps. Then I went to a local cafe, and I was using the Neo pastels for this. It's all right. It's kind of cute. I know that the wait staff were watching me, and they came up behind me when we were finishing our meal, and one of the waitresses told me, "We were watching you and you're so fast at making that." And I was flattered, but also I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were watching me. This was a swatch test for Woomer. Woomer decided to be very kind and reach out to me to partner with me for their colored pencil set. So I did a video about that. I'll put the card up below or up above in case you want to watch it. I really enjoyed these colored pencils. I tested them against a few other colored pencils. So Prismacolor and Faber-Castell and Derwent. I think that's it. Yeah, you'll have to watch the video because I don't remember, but I did compare with a few other brands and just kind of drew some stuff out. This was a day where I was just kind of sitting outside painting gouache. This was with the Neocolor ones. So I don't use them very often. I actually use my Neo Arts much more than the Neocolor ones, and they're very similar. But I was really excited because I had just picked up the Neocolor ones and I wanted to give them a try and see how they compared to the 2s and the Arts. This was an art dice game session with my family. The prompt was angry building yellow and orange. Sorry about the curse words. This was a swatch test from my little travel palette. This little guy right here. I just had this filled with like 6 different colors of gouache, and I was just trying to test out color combinations. This was dinner with my friend, and I believe this was with the same travel palette. I used this one quite a lot throughout the sketchbook. This was a different gouache palette. Oh, this was so much fun. Okay, so these are connected to another sketchbook because I ran out of room in this one. So Debbie Draws Funny and Melissa Martin from Art Hang Party, they got together with me and we did an event for my work at NBC where we drew drag queens, and it was so much fun. So this was Art Hang Party NBC edition. And there's like, I really love this one and this one over like pre-blobinated pages. Which is a term that is from, what's her name? Oh my gosh, it's from Sophie McPike, of course. She's lovely. So she likes to make pre-blobinated pages, and that's what I did. I was cleaning off my brush from my little palette, and I had pre-blobinated pages, and I just kind of drew over them, which made it so lively. This was from another video where I was testing out some inks. This was again with this little tiny travel palette with gouache, and just me kind of painting my parents at a restaurant. This was the start of the NBC Art Hang Party. See, it's all over the place. I was finding blank pages in my sketchbook and just kind of like flipping back and forth. But I really had fun with this. This was using, I believe, the tempera paint sticks. I think. Either that or it was using the Crayola acrylic paint sticks. It might have been that one. This is when I got the Talons Pantone markers. The thing about those markers, maybe this paper isn't the best paper for it, but they kind of like muted the colors quite a bit. They're pretty, but they're just not super saturated, which is what I was expecting from Talons partnering with Pantone. So, I don't know. I'll try it on different paper. Maybe I'll have better results. Just random sketches, ramen bowl, come to life. This was from an outing that I did with my urban sketch group. We went to the town of Waxahachie, where we drew all day long, and then at the very end we got to share, and so we all had multiple drawings. So this is just one of the many that I drew. This one I experimented with the Neocolor ones as a wax resist, there we go, and Neocolor 2s, as well as I think some watercolor. So this was really fun. I really enjoyed this. It's got the little stamp from Urban Sketchers, and that's the DFW one, and that's East Texas. This was, I think afterwards, we went to Ramen Hakata, which is a local ramen place in my town. I used those Ecoline markers a lot during this time because I just love this like beautiful gradient that they give. And that's just because they're so juicy. This was just a brush pen, quick drawing of my daughter at her hockey game. Rainbow pencil. More of the brush pen. Those are those Ecoline markers. You can tell because of like where it ends, the brush stroke. It just has like a really pretty gradient. This, I actually, I used this as a little sign for my daughter to like support her during her hockey game. So I held my sketchbook up and she could see it from the stands. So this was so much fun. This was Star Wars night, and I really enjoy doing the Star Wars meals and all the fun things on May the 4th. So I do that for my family. We start with blue smoothies and we continue with like a full Star Wars dinner and lunch and everything. This was some new gouache that I had picked up recently. This was the Star Wars supper, the menu, and these were all of the ideas that I had for our dinner. I like drawing out menus and food, so here is the menu again. And then I was following a YouTuber's channel talking about like drawing people and like the way that they draw people. So it was like a really good study on her technique, and she used Jeremy Allen White from The Bear as her subject. So I didn't like how he came out. That's why I said he was like the bear in the Shire, because he kind of reminded me of like Frodo or like a hobbit. This was more of that practice from her video. It's all supposed to be Jeremy Allen White. I don't think any of them really came close. And then I tried myself, and well, there you go. This was the Star Wars supper. This is what my plate looked like. It was so much fun to put together. I do it every year, like I said, and I always have fun with it. This was just a quick self-portrait, and this was a day that I went to go get pizza with my kiddo, and we were sitting waiting for it for a long time, so I just kind of sketched out the restaurant we were at. This is my favorite hockey player right now. His name is Tyler Seguin. He plays for the Dallas Stars, and I love him so much. I don't think that my drawing of him did him justice, but my ex-husband said it was like as if John Krasinski from The Office and James Franco had a baby, and I was like, cool, thanks. At least he looks like a person, so I'm happy about that. This was just playing with some inks. This is when I discovered that I was not very good at drawing cats, so I was just really practicing. Playing with some more ink. Oh, I wanted to draw Misty from Yellow Jackets. Mother's Day, of course. I scanned this and gave my mom this as a card. I'm not sure what paints these are. They feel a little powdery, They almost feel like the graphite, but I know that they're not. I'm just not sure which ones they are. That's definitely some ink. I can see how it absorbed into the page. This was just kind of a little road trip I did with my friend, and I just had this little palette. This was a Mother's Day art hang party. It wasn't an official Mother's Day art hang party. It was one that I hosted at my house using an art hang party replay. My mother wanted to draw flowers, of course. So we all did this. Me, my ex, my daughter, another ex, and my brother. So it'll be a lot of fun. I used colored pencils for this one, and I enjoyed it. Just some silly nonsense scribbles. More just scribbly. I was trying to draw my friend at dinner one night, and it didn't come out exactly like her. But I was really starting to try to get better at portraits. So, you know, some things take time. That is so accurate. Mother's Day flowers. I wanted to draw all the flowers that were on my table before they died. So this was that. This is a better drawing of my friend. I feel like this looks a lot more like her. And so I was really happy with this one. My daughter in the pool. I didn't like how my ex came out here. So I just scribbled him out, but it looks like she's just yelling at no one. And there's those lovely Ecoline brush tip markers again. More of them, just playing with them. This was a day where I decided to pull over at a meadow and just kind of like have lunch and draw and paint. The bugs were trying to eat me, and I was trying to eat lunch. So I didn't stay for very long. This was a day where I heard a song called Raspberry Jam by Alalas, which I think they're a Texas-based band, but I loved this song, and it made me imagine myself climbing into a jar of raspberry jam. And there it is again. So the Dallas Stars were in the hockey playoffs. They didn't succeed in winning everything, winning the Stanley Cup, but I would go over to my friends to go watch. And while I watched, I was painting. So yeah, he said that he was struck in the heart after the Winnipeg Jets beat us. Oh, I really like this one. This is when I went to meet up with a friend for tea and tacos. It was really fun though. Just some random sketches from just going around to different places. Went to the Texas Derby with my ex-husband. This is supposed to be Misty from Yellow Jackets. This was from an art hang party that I get to pick the pictures for. I was so excited. This was the Wes Anderson themed art hang party. I was so happy. I love Wes Anderson so much, and it was really fun to get to pick the pictures. So thank you so much, Melissa. I'm like always down to do that. It makes me so happy. So these were some quick sketches. This is when I went down to Houston. I had my acrylic markers because I started really loving my acrylic markers and gouache. Oh, and I got to see Reb for the first time, and I tried to draw her and I didn't do a very good job. I'm really sorry, but we had a lot of fun. I got her a duck cup for her desk, picked up some postcards from the shop, and actually this pencil box that I have right over here, and a watercolor palette that I don't have over here. It's in my bag, but yeah. Oh my gosh, these are the colors from my little travel palette. I took them all out because I wanted to refresh this palette. See, it's empty. Well, it doesn't have paints in it right now. but these were the colors that were in there. So this darker blue, this teal, this like rose color, a warmer red, a lemon yellow, a warm yellow, and then this like limey yellow, a white, and then just a mixing pan. Those were the colors I used. A lot. Just a lot of play. I think this is when my gouache palette that I had just filled kind of overflowed into each other during travel, and I just had a whole bunch of greens that I didn't have before. I think I had 2 greens before and I ended up with 6. So I was trying to clean it. This is when I was trying the 3-color palette and like making other colors from the 3 colors. So this one was fun. I really like how it came out. There we go. There's more of the drag queens from the art hang party with NBC. I really love how Trixie came out. More art hang party with NBC. This was when I was using my acrylic markers. I have this huge set of Artix acrylic markers. I don't have the 90 set, but I have the 260 sets. But there's a lot of duplicates, so I understand the 90 set. But anyway, I love how this can came out. And I have a short for it too, so you can see me draw it. This was a graduation dinner I went to, and I just used my tiny palette. Just a sketchy day. I was trying out I think it's called spit shading for tattooing, and I was trying out the spit shading technique for these strawberries. My favorite, one of my favorite characters is Boba Fett, and I just liked these colors. I was reading this book, and then this was a comparison test between the Neo Arts and the Neo Color 2s. If you hear a loud noise, that was my dog waking up from a nap. I believe that these were some new pencils I'd picked up when I was in LA, potentially. And my aunt had requested some art, so I needed to actually make these into stickers for her at her request. And I did, but her birthday is coming up soon, so I was waiting to ship them out. So this was an art dice game and a preliminary learning opportunity for the table. So we sit around this big table in my house, and we start off with like a warm-up exercise or like a learning opportunity. And so today, or that day, was me teaching them how to make a foam stamp. And then we got into the actual art dice game. So these were some examples. With the art dice game, I decided to use different mediums. So I started with pencil, went into oil pastel, went into inks, acrylic inks, and then gouache. And I think that's the last one. Yeah. This was for that palette that I got from the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston. This was just a little travel day. I went to Waco. I saw some cute people sitting eating lunch. This was another day trip back to the haunted town of Jefferson, and it was also the weekend where it was the, what was it? That mushroom. What was it called? I can't remember. If I remember, I will write it out. But it was like a leave some art behind that's mushroom themed for people to find it. So yeah, that was really fun. I was drawing these out. And then in Jefferson, I decided to just draw out some buildings with just black ink. I think I was testing out a new colored pencil set here. drawing out some ideas for some new stickers. And that's really the end of the sketchbook. So this was a basically a 5x8 sketchbook and 140 GSM, 94-pound paper. It's like a cream colored paper, and this is the Talon's Art Creations sketchbook. That QR code links to my website, and I put in a little pocket in the back, but I didn't do a very good job of it. But I was putting it back here to put like some ephemera or extra stickers. So yep, I was just carrying some stuff around. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming to hang out and watching this sketchbook tour. I don't think I have time to do the other ones just yet because they're so long, but we'll get into probably this one, sketchbook number 16, next time, and then we'll get into the other two. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks again for choosing to spend your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like or subscribe, and let me know if you have any upcoming video ideas. I have a ton of art supplies. I can do so many different things with them, so I'm always open to suggestions. But that's it for now. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!